Good morning. So there was 40 pounds of ice in here last night and about 5 pounds this morning. This is not new water. We have used this water for probably 3 days at this point. So if you're curious about the cold jumping or cold plunging bandwagon, I saw something interesting that Russell Brand said the other day that I thought that he didn't say what I'm about to say, but he said that we as humans do not expose ourselves to the elements that we, in my own words, he was alluding to that we talk ourselves out of our own nature in modern day lifestyles, which I 100% agree with. And cold plunging in the morning, or at all, for me, has had miraculous effects. One, on my sleep, which I didn't cold plunge for like 2 weeks because we had to rearrange our situation for my daughter's party, and I just didn't put the cold plunge back up. And my sleep patterns started to diminish. Like, I have insomnia like crazy. I'll be the person who's up at 1 o'clock in the morning, walking around the house, writing, and then by the time I'm ready to go back to sleep, it's like time for the house to wake up, which doesn't bode well for my sanity. But Russell Brand's concept that he was talking about had me thinking about how just creating adversity for oneself with the elements, with the natural elements, that's human nature, right? The weather is our first adversity. Finding shelter is an adversity, right? And when we have those kinds of elemental adversities, there is a drama. That's the human drama. That's the elemental, all-natural human drama, right? And when we create that adversity for ourselves with the elements, like cold plunging, I can't express to you enough that I've done deprivation chambers, I've meditated, I do a lot of things to keep my consciousness clear, but nothing like cold plunging has I could go to a place of meditation in a split second. There's this dropping in my body where all of a sudden it's like, I'm unsafe, and then, okay, it's almost as comfortable as a warm bath eventually, which is ironic, even when you're sitting in tons of ice. So, it stops time. It stops present, or it stops like past, it stops future, just stops time. And it stops the drama, the mental drama. And if you consider that you create elemental drama and it stops the mental drama, you're not going to take those dramas into your life, right? Like, we create drama because we're looking for it. Humans are bored. They're not attached to having to survive. They're not attached to elemental adversity and making a fire, right? Taking a bath in freezing cold water, having to go get water. That's all right at our fingertips. But a cold plunge and a pattern of cold plunging puts you in an adversity that stops the mind, just completely clears the mind. And then you take that stopped mind into the world instead of the momentum when you wake up and you're like, okay, what do I have to do today? I have to talk to this person. I don't like, all the drama that goes on in your head. Cold plunging just kind of stops. So I started cold plunging not for mental reasons. I started because if you follow my channel, you know that I was on the table for a pacemaker, basically. Not literally, but that was in the works. And I am a person who is like, absolutely not. Like, I will do anything to make sure that it doesn't happen, which I have done. And I learned that cold plunging is good for the vagus nerve. So I cold plunge, my kids cold plunge, Chris cold plunges, and I am a person who, when I first saw my friend cold plunging, I was like, dude, I can't even stay for like 30 seconds at the end of a cold shower, right? Like, I can't take a cold shower. I hate it so much. It's so triggering for me. But this is not putting myself in a position of stepping into the container, knowing with intentionality then I'm going to create adversity for myself, and I'm going to be safe through that adversity, has been incredible. It's been absolutely incredible. And I'm a person who hates cold water. I don't like cold in general necessarily. I don't like hot either. I don't like either extreme. But this cold plunge that I'm using right now is called it's just a $120 tub. It's called the Pod Company. And people can say, oh, I don't want to have to take the time to put the ice in. I don't want to have to, just go take a cold shower. But for me, that level of intentionality of going, okay, I'm going outside. I'm going to freeze my ass off. I have an intention that's separate from just my shower. It makes it even more kind of elemental for the mind, because I know that I'm going in with intention. The way that we should go into anything with intention, right? We should go into a shower with intention. We should go into, like, I'm going to go have a little cacao ceremony this morning, like I do every morning. We should do all of that with intention, but having it separate from me, it's just worth it. I like the ritualistic aspect of going, okay, like I had to go get ice last night. I had to go get ice the day before. I have to put ice in my freezer so I have it available. And so I can make it cold enough to be an actual cold plunge. So I started this for biological reasons, but it became theoretically like ceremonious for me. And I can't really describe to you the unbelievable effects on my sleep pattern. That is an undeniable, obvious result of this. So for Chris, he does it for health reasons, and he notices that his body feels better. That is not my experience necessarily, but I do notice that I can sleep through an entire night even after I wake up to pee, because normally if I would wake up to pee, I'd be up for hours. So cold plunging for me has been actually the only thing that takes me to a meditative place in which that instantaneous time stops. And some people could say, like some people do say who are avid meditators, oh, psychedelics are the quick, cheap route, like, to meditating, and it's almost unfair, which I disagree with. I understand the sentiment, but cold plunging is that for me with meditation. I am not, my mind is very, very all over the place all the time. I would say that I try to live my life like a walking meditation, but it takes a long time to get me there. Not in a cold plunge. In a cold plunge, you get in, and all of a sudden, you freeze your ass off, and then there's this dropping. And there's this grounding, and you're in a container where nothing outside the container exists. My kids will be like, mommy, 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 like talking to me, and I'm not triggered. I'm also almost incapable of talking back at first, because I have to get to that place where my body feels safe. And then I can have a conversation like I am right now. So it's been a game changer for us. We've been loving doing it. I'm going to continue to do it, especially when I notice my sleep patterns are insane. I really cannot begin to tell you that for the last 3 days I've cold plunged, and I haven't done it for 2 weeks. And my sleep is just so different, absolutely different. So if you're interested in vagus nerve stimulation, which in layman's terms, the vagus nerve is part of your parasympathetic nervous system. It's part of your healing room. I think of the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system in your body as a healing room, like a spa, or an emergency room, which the sympathetic nervous system is. And how long do you think that you would want to be in the emergency room, like on a level of body? How long do you think, what percentage of the time do you think your body would rather be at the spa versus the emergency room? So the cold plunge stimulates your spa, like your healing room in your body. And so of course that's probably why it stops the thoughts for me. But also there is an inherent drama in the body, and this is what I mean about not creating drama in the outer world. There's this inherent drama when you're used to being in your sympathetic nervous system. You're used to being in that ER rush mode. That all of a sudden you're in your parasympathetic nervous system, there's this stopping. There's this halting of time, halting of everything. and you're at ease. And that in and of itself creates almost enough drama for you for one day that you're not interested in creating or even participating in outward drama. So if you are interested in trying cold plunging, I would highly suggest it. This particular thing, I would love to have one that's like the very expensive one that also, you know, you don't have to waste your time getting ice and things like that. But this is a good start for me to have my will to participate in the act that I'm saying with intentionality I want to do. And this particular tub was only $120. And people say fill your bathtub, but again, for me, like fill your bathtub with ice. For me, I couldn't do that. It felt like I'd rather take a warm bath in my bathtub, right? Like I want to be intentional with the spaces in my house, and this space is for this action. And I love that about it. So for me, it's been worth it to take my time and to go through the ritualistic aspect of knowing that, okay, I'm going to go into the cold plunge, I'm going to have to prepare it and get it ready. It's like cooking a meal, right? So, I forgot to bring out a towel, but, oh no I didn't, it's over there. I hope this is helpful if you are somebody who hates cold water, but you're interested in health, and also just, I really can't express you enough when you create adversity with the elements, like we are used to on a biological level, we're used to making fire, we're used to having to go get water, we're used to jumping into cold ass things to take showers and things like that. When we are engaged in that, the outer drama of modern life doesn't exist. It doesn't matter. You know what matters, right? And somehow cold plunging brings me back to that. And it doesn't take a lot to take me back to that. Like I'm an elemental person as it is. But it takes me back to that place of like, wow, I found a way to stop the inner drama. So I'm not going to engage in it so quickly in the outer world. And I love that. So I love hearing Russell Brand talk about the element thing, because I know that he also cold plunges. And I really have found that it's entirely true. Okay, so you're only supposed to stay in the cold plunge. Let me tell you two things about this. For 3 to 11 minutes, I'm going to get out. I'm freezing. But also, you're supposed to put your head under fully first. That's another reason I didn't love the bathtub, because if you get in the bathtub, you inevitably have to put your entire body in before your head, and when you put your head under first, it sends a signal to your body that you're safe, that you're almost initiating intentional adversity, and that you can stay with yourself through it. Because a lot of us like think, oh my god, let me go into flight mode in the face of adversity, and then we kind of create our relationships and our life patterns based on that flight mode or that fight mode or your freeze response. And there's something about this that is not any of those things. It's ironic, I have to say this piece of it. It's ironic that it's considered a cold plunge, because I've never felt anything in my life. You get to a place while you do it that all of a sudden you're freezing your ass off, but you have melted away all of the shit that you wouldn't want. I can't explain that other than you doing it for yourself and finding out. But if you're interested in doing it, it's something that I would highly suggest for more reasons than just biological, right? A lot of people do it for health reasons, and obviously they go hand in hand. If you are in a parasympathetic nervous system, you're going to have a calmer mind, obviously. So it's not that expensive. It's not that much time. A lot of people will say, oh, I want to save my time by not going to get ice and things like that. It's not that much time. It's not that expensive. It's not fun, but it is awesome. So I would give it a try. It's really, I have suggested it to some people. I'm not trying to just like hop on the bandwagon. I wouldn't suggest something that I didn't do myself and find results that were like undeniable. That's why I'm doing this video. So we've been cold plunging with this particular cold plunge for about 4 months, and we love it. So it's definitely started a new thing. Our kids' friends come over and they're like, can we get in the cold plunge? They do cold plunge challenges and stuff. So for them it's fun, but that's not exactly what I would describe it as. So okay, I've been in here for 15 minutes. I'm getting out. Bye guys, have a good day.